In this video, I'm going to reveal the 5 mistakes people make when they set a plan. Plans are honestly amazing in stopping procrastination, but if you fall victim to one of these mistakes, then you're actually going to procrastinate even more. But a little about me first. I'm Anthony, and I've been a procrastination coach for over a year. In that time, I've learned a ton of lessons, and not only am I in the best shape I've ever been, but my clients have gotten excellent results. And so I know what I'm talking about here. The first mistake that people make is that they substitute planning as procrastination. Like, they end up planning to avoid procrastination, but in the process, they end up procrastinating. The mistake here is that you're taking too long. Don't try to imagine like 5 years out into the future. You know, people talk about 5 and 10-year goals. To be completely honest with you, you don't need this at this moment. Trying to think out 10 years ahead when you can't even do the tasks today, you're procrastinating on the things today, isn't going to help you. But what will help you is planning in the short term. So for example, I use a task list day by day to plan things out. I don't set up my tasks 5 years in ahead because for all I know, I'm going to be in a completely different place in my life. I don't know what I'm doing in 5 years, but I know what I'm doing today. And that's all that matters. Don't plan too far out into the future and don't take too long in doing it. Like, it's not going to help you because either way, you just need to take action and then go from there. Planning is only helpful, but to an extent. Doing too much of it is actually harmful to you. And this actually goes into the second step very nicely. It's that you have too much to do. Like, you might go ahead and implement the first step, but without this step, you're still not going to get too far. The first step is that you're taking too long time-wise. The second step, the second mistake, is that you're putting in too many things. You're giving yourself too many options, too many things to do. And that really overwhelms you. I'll actually say that overwhelming feelings is that overwhelm is actually a big reason why people procrastinate. They feel overwhelmed because of stress or they have a bunch of things to do, and so they don't do them. That's the thing. Like, you might think that planning out exactly everything you need to do will help you. Truth is, planning out 5, 6 things you gotta do is more helpful. This comes into the 80-20 rule, which is that 80% of the results comes from only 20% of the effort you put in. That 20% only comes from like 5 things in your day. Let's be completely real. And out of those 5 things related to your goals, you don't need to put 100 steps on your task list. All you have to do, truly, 5 things. 6 things, absolute maximum. And past that, you're actually getting yourself a worse result. The third mistake that people make when setting up a plan is that they're not specific enough. So the first step was that you spend too much time on it. The second step is that you have too many things. But now, each of those steps isn't actually specific enough. So I'll give you an example. Imagine that you are trying to lose weight. You're trying to go to the gym. You're trying to eat healthy. Awesome, right? If on your task list you end up just putting lose weight, that's not going to help you. Even if you go a bit more specific, like work out. Okay, so I know what I need to do, but when, where, why, how? Like, the more specific you can get, this includes the time, the place, the location. Anything that you can do to make it more specific is going to help you. And the reason for this is that it becomes an implementation intention. So what that is that the more you think about something and the more you actually plan it out, the more you flesh it out, the more likely you are to do it. It's because your brain likes being consistent with your thoughts. It likes being consistent with yourself. So the more you think about something, the more likely you are to actually do it. So let's say you believe that you're not a liar and you tell people that you're not a liar. When you're in a circumstance where you can lie, you're not going to because you want to be consistent with the person that you are. Same thing happens when you think about a plan. The more specific, the more you flesh it out. This includes, like, honestly, even writing it on paper is a huge plus. Just because it's in your vision, you're putting it in the real world, and that's fleshing it out even more. This is such an important step because without this step, and without any step, actually, any of these mistakes can absolutely harm you. But this mistake especially. You could apply everything else, but if it's not specific enough, then there's no reason to write a plan. This step is one of the most crucial ones, but number 4 is really where it gets juicy. Because the last 3 steps, by themselves, they will help you make a good plan. But this step will actually make you take action on it. And before I actually tell you the mistake, I want to tell you about video games. So, in a video game, whether it's a multiplayer or a single player game, you usually have some kind of support, right? Whether it be items or characters, real or NPCs, you usually have some kind of things helping you, right? Items like potions. Without any supporting things, if you're just by yourself, no weapons, no nothing, it's just you, the character, you're not going to get very far, right? Even if you have max stats, you have everything, you're like the strongest kid, the strongest person in the game, it doesn't matter if you don't have any items. That's where the supports come in. So essentially, you by yourself is just a plan by itself with no help. But any kind of support you can add is all of the little tiny things that actually give you a huge impact that you can just add on to it real quick. For example, you could set an alarm on your phone near the time that you put your specific task at. So this works with number 3 as well. You set the time, let's say 4 p.m. You set a timer on your phone for 3:50 to get ready for it. Or a huge thing, this is truly crucial. Like, I wish I knew this specific thing earlier. When you write your task on paper, when you write your plan on paper, you can actually put the paper on the place where you usually procrastinate. You can put it on top of your phone. You can put it on your bed, on your couch. And genuinely, this one step, just putting the plan, the physical thing you wrote out onto your couch, is genuinely going to change your life. Just because every time that you see it, you're going to be reminded of that plan. And as I mentioned in number 3, the more you think of something, the more likely you are to do it. If it's constantly in your eyes, in your vision, then you're not going to procrastinate on it. If there was a constant reminder, like it was literally in your eye that you had this plan you want to do, then nobody would procrastinate ever, like in the world. It wouldn't be a problem. But we don't have that yet. And so the next best thing is to constantly remind yourself of it. Any kind of support here works. Again, the more creative you are with this and the more you know yourself, the better. I'll tell you an example from my life. I used to scroll a ton, like on YouTube. I'd go for 6, 8, 10 hours a day. And it was awful. Like, I just couldn't get myself to stop. And you know what I did? It was such a simple thing. You know what I did? I just put an alarm on my phone in the evening. The alarm is literally called Stop YouTube. That's it. Just that alarm is enough to make me snap out of scrolling on YouTube. That probably halved my screen time just by itself, that one alarm. It's crazy how much of a support, like how much of an effect these supporting things can have. But with that number 5, mistake number 5, you actually won't get too far. The problem is that you could have done everything right. You applied the last 4 steps absolutely great. Mistake number 5 is where it gets you. Mistake number 5 is that you don't account for reality. So I'll give you an example from one of my clients. I've actually helped one of my clients specifically with writing out his plan. So he wanted a complete system just recently. This is just one of the things I've taught him. But it ended up that he wrote out a huge plan. We really thought it out. We really brainstormed it for him. He ends up trying it and it didn't work. Like, he tried to use the plan, but he just got tired. He got distracted. He was stressed out. And so he didn't follow the plan. You know what ended up happening? The next call, we ended up talking about it again, going over it. We had just adjusted a few things. And guess what? Second time's a charm. It worked the second time. But you know, the problem is that most people actually give up on that very first try. They try it once, they fail, and they give up. If you're that type of person, you're not going to get far with procrastination because procrastination is an addiction. It takes time. You're not going to go cold turkey on procrastination because if you could, you would have already. You've tried it before and it didn't work. So we take this step by step. You try it once, it didn't work. Second time, you adjust a few things. It kind of worked, but you still ended up procrastinating. Third time, you actually got some progress and you actually did a few things. And the more and more you reiterate, the more and more you advance your planning and your skills, the more you'll actually end up taking action. Because that's the biggest lesson of this video that I want to share with you. You procrastinate because you lack the skills necessary to stop procrastinating. If you had the skills already, you would have stopped procrastinating. That's what I'm trying to do here. Just planning is only one subset of skills overall with procrastination. But if you can nail this one skill, immediately every other skill becomes that much easier. It's just filling out the puzzle pieces that you're lacking. Maybe you lack the very top right piece, or the top left for you, the top left piece, or the top right for you. Essentially, you just lack the puzzle pieces necessary to finish out the puzzle of taking action. It's not a mysterious thing. You don't need to take a potion to stop procrastinating. All you gotta do, get the puzzle pieces, put it in, and you're done. Those puzzle pieces are the skills that I'm teaching you in these videos. And so, if you want my personal help with this, I do procrastination coaching. As I mentioned earlier, my clients have gotten excellent results. And this is actually just one topic that I talk about with them. If you're interested in truly making a change in your life, then you can go ahead and get your free consultation, completely free, by clicking the link in the description. And if you want to learn more skills to beat procrastination, then you should watch this video. This is like a primer video necessary to teach you the rest of everything. Essentially, most procrastination videos on YouTube are BS. And this video will explain why.